and I think they were given a leg up by a really, really soft penalty. But no, I know my team. I know what we are. It's difficult to come here and create lots of chances. I don't think anybody has. I think, as I say, I think they've got a really good defensive record, and that's football. But I did think we would get something with the last 20 minutes, but we didn't have the quality ultimately to see that happen.
The ugly old question has returned once again. The Rovers fans are out in full voice. Should we stay or should we go with Mowbray in charge? Is it up to us? Completely not. As Rovers lose to Leeds once again. We'll talk about that and much more next. That's right, folks, back once again with another match review. This time we're picking apart Blackburn Rovers' latest match up against Leeds United, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, championship related, world football related, all here on Nowarowski. That's right, and yes, 2-1 in the end to Leeds United, who comfortably beat Blackburn today at Elland Road. 35,567 folks were in attendance to see that game. I think around about 1,000 or more Rovers fans were there. 2-1 final score. Yes, well, where do we begin with this, Pabble? Well, let's talk about the goals first and foremost, shall we? Leeds took the lead, 30th minute. Patrick Bamford from the penalty spot after a pretty weak-ass penalty, if I'm honest. Who was it? I think it was Tonson Adebayo got himself in a bit of a mess with Ayling, who'd bombed forward as he does in the box, tumbled falling like a Jenga tower, crashed down to earth. Penalty given, bit weak. But up steps Patrick Bamford, who coolly, as you like, puts it in the back of the net, no problems. Yes, I'm not gonna go into too much of my gripes with Bamford, but he's just one of them players who's kind of rubbed me up the wrong way. But anyway, that was the first goal. Second goal was on the 35th minute, and it looked to be game over at this point. Harrison struck a nice little goal off the woodwork, bounced in the back of the net, and 2-0. It looked like home and dry for Leeds. But no, 5 minutes later, Rovers made it a little bit interesting. 2-1. Big Derrick Williams scoring, I think he must be our second highest goal scorer this season. Beautiful header from a corner in the back of the net to make it 2-1. And it was game on, folks. Game on. Well, it wasn't really. That was the last goals of the game. And I think, to be honest with you, the second half was a bit of a meh affair. Nobody really created too much chances. And we had a couple of little moments of magic that we could have turned into something decent. But ultimately, we weren't good enough. And we've not been good enough for the best part of a couple months now. We picked up a result last week, which may have painted over the cracks a little bit. Prior to that, we were on a 6-game winless run. So just a 1 win and 7. Not great. Not promotion form. Absolutely not. Relegation form. Perhaps it is. It's something that we need to look at in just a little bit. Let's take a look at the stats now for you folks. 15 shots on the day for Leeds, just the 4 for Rovers. 68.1% possession for Leeds, 31.9% for Rovers. Pass success rate, 81% for Leeds, 50% for Rovers. They were more fruitful with the dribbles and aerial tackles as well. We did have more corners, which we scored 1 from, but ultimately it was Leeds' day today. Bit more, take a look at the starting lineups. Here we go with Leeds. Casilla between sticks, Cooper, White, Ayling, Harrison, Dallas, Phillips, Klitsch, Roberts, Bamford and Costa. Something are looking like that. Not really spot on. But Phillips, I tell you what, he is a quality player that will be playing in the Premier League next season. No question. Will it be with Leeds or will it be with somebody else? He's definitely got that bit of something about him. And look, according to FIFA or whatever this is, he is the best player on the books by a country mile, and he was the best player on the field ahead of Rovers. Look at Rovers' woeful statistics here. Between the goal, we had Walton, then we had Williams, Adebayo, Nyambe, and Bennett. Square pegs and round holes, buddy. Square pegs in round holes. Nyambe did not look good at centre-back today. I think he was very woeful. Bennett at right-back's just no good. No, it's a no win for me on that one. You just shouldn't be playing him at right-back. I'm not saying drop him completely. Maybe push him at centre-back. Maybe push Downing further afield. Or maybe push him at left-back. I don't know. But it's not working out. Nyambe should be playing at right-back. And We should be getting a pissing centre-back in. Anyway, Downing at left, Travis at the right side of the defensive midfield, Dakaruni, Armstrong, Holtby, and Gallagher. And let's take a look now at my match ratings for these bad boys today. Well, straight to the point, no animations. We ain't mucking about today because it's one of those days. Walton got 6, basically keeping us in it. He had a good couple of saves. Obviously, they peppered our goal. He had to be of some use today. A bit of a chocolate fire guy, perhaps. A couple of goals squeezed past him. Williams gets a 6. Obviously, he scored the goal. Tonton Madabaraya with a 5. Nyambi with a 5. Bennett with a 5. Downing with a 6. Obviously, created the goal scoring opportunity for Del Boy. And despite his aging years, he kept on running, kept on giving it 100%, as did Travis, but he only gets a 5. Dak with a 5, Armstrong with a 4, Holtby with a 4, and Gallagher with a 4. Basically, our attack was pretty minimal today. We offered very little. In fact, let's take a look at some more stats for you. It's not pretty reading. Touches. Leeds had 718 touches of the ball. We had 400, that's nearly double. What is double is the passes, over double. Leeds passed the ball 495 times compared to our 234. As you can see on here, the shots, 15 shots for Leeds. We already mentioned that, and they had 8 of those on target. 4 shots for Rovers, not on target, just the one on target. And does that count as the goal? Because that went in the back of the net. Is that what it is? But this is a statistic that's been brought into my eyes on Twitter. I got a bit of a lambasting perhaps today because you know what Twitter is. But it's not something that's happened a one-off. This is not a one-off for Rovers. Our shots to shots on target ratio is woeful and concerningly so. I've seen Leeds dominate the amount of shots that they have. I've seen them at the top of the chart week in, week out. They're like 15 plus is an average. That's an average. An average for us is like 3 or 4 shots for Rovers. We don't pepper the goal much enough. Look at this. Look at the little graph over here. Obviously, the orange is Leeds. Look how many types of shots they're throwing in at the keeper. He had to be on his best behaviour today. He had 8 shots. How many shots were on target? Only 4 was on target. So it's not a good turn ratio for Leeds. Obviously, 15 shots, only 4 on target, basically less than a third. We've also pretty low with only 1 of our 4 going on target. But ultimately, it's just not good enough for Rovers. But where do we go? What do we do with this? What do we do with this data? You know, you could show Mowbray this week in and week out. You're saying, you know what, you may have had more. I'm not saying today that we have more possession, but on average, we do seem to have more possession when played. But we don't create the chances. We hold the ball, we pass it back and forth, trying to create gaps and holes and opportunities. But we don't. We don't create those opportunities, and then we don't end up having a shot on target. So pretty woeful for us. Loss of possession. Leeds did lose possession more than us, but they had the ball more than us. So, and another whopping statistic or an area. Look at that. Look at the heat maps. Leeds have got green pretty much every bit of grass they are covered. There is also even a hot spot in the middle third there, and that's where Phillips was bossing it around in midfield. As for Rovers, a bit just limited green, a lot of blue. Basically, that means we weren't getting much of the ball. And it's well, it was going to be that way anyway. You know, I was just hopeful that when those chances that we did, the very few chances, or the chance that we had, hopefully it would have went in the back of the net and luck would have went our way. But it didn't. Before we get into the old Twitter feedback and all that kind of good stuff, we'll have a little listen to what the gaffers had to say in just 1 second. And I want to give you my thoughts on this. This was always going to be a free hit for us. I didn't expect us to get anything out of this. I was optimistic that we might get something out of this, but we didn't. What happens now is what happens next, really. The gaffer will probably stay in charge. You know, if anything, if the board are going to do anything, now would be the perfect time to bin him off and find someone else. That won't happen. Why? I just don't. I think they're balanced in the books. They're happy with the financial status player as it stands. Mowbray's done a great job. Got rid of Deadwood. Brought in some good players, attractive players as well. But they won't bin him off. But this would be the time. What would happen next is a big, huge cluster of fixtures. I went over them earlier today. I had a quick look at them, and they are very winnable games on the cards all the way through to the 1st of January. Then it gets a little bit trickier, extra tricky. I'm not saying they're all walkovers, but there are games that we could win. Brentford at home, Barnsley at home, we should be winning them. Derby are in and amongst us in the table. They've not been the greatest. Stoke might be on a bit of an uptick of form with their new manager and all that kind of stuff. We'll take a look at the table in just a second, but ultimately, We need to start winning. The season starts now for us. Let's forget about this past few months, November, or this part of November, October, September, August. Let's forget about it. Let's kick on now when we get back from the international break and go all out. If we start to lose the next 2 games, especially I think they're both at home as well. If we don't pick up 6 points out of 6, or at least 4 points out of 6, then things need to be addressed quickly, or we will get sucked into that relegation battle. Anyway, you've heard a little bit what I've had to say. What about the gaffer? What did he say shortly after the final whistle in this match between Rovers and Leeds United? Take it away, gaffer.
My thoughts. I think it was a pretty intense game. I think when you come to Elland Road, it's always going to be intense. I think you have to match their energy and their legs, their athleticism. I thought we did that particularly well. To be honest, the first half hour, I'm not sure they had a shot. And in the intensity of the game, the referee gives a penalty that I've seen it back a few times on my laptop. It's soft to say the best. It's never a penalty to say the worst for him. I think he spoiled a little bit of the game. What I'm trying to say is the context, the penalty he was given, it didn't fit in with the game. That was a lot of physicality, a lot of tackles, a lot of energy, a lot of players going 100%, and then he gives a soft penalty, really. And so that's the frustration. It's not the first one. I think we had one at Preston the other week. I've just said there, I think officials, I don't know, usual, say journalists who've been in the game a long time, probably watched it a long time. Is the standard dropping? Is it really poor in the Championship this year, or is it just me? I don't know. It feels as if that game was a bit too much for him today, but that feels harsh also on a young guy, probably making his living through being a referee. But it felt to me as if, in the context of the game, it was a very soft penalty that give him an opportunity to get in front. Listen, they're a very good team. I don't want to come here and say that we deserve this and we deserve that, because Leeds are a very good team. We spent a long time out of possession today because they're so good with the ball. And yet I think they didn't have hundreds of shots. I think we felt pretty comfortable. I think when we got back to 2-1, I think there was a nervousness about it. I think you have to sort of feed off that. The frustration for us about our team is that we didn't have the quality ultimately to prey on that nervousness at 2-1 really for such a long time. And the last 20 minutes I felt that we would get something from this game, and yet it never materialised. The second goal was a great goal. It was a long direct ball, which was a brilliant takedown, great ball inside, a good finish. It's a great goal. Leeds score great goals. They've got good players, and it was the first goal that was the irritant for me, as you can feel in my thoughts. 2-0 down at Elland Road, you've got to be proud of your team that we didn't cave in, and we fought back into the game, and as I say, ultimately made it a bit nervous for them, but it means very little sitting here with no points. I think they've got the best defensive record in the league. I think they've got a really, really intense team. I don't think it's just because they've got great defenders. I think they're an amazing team at pressing the ball, at closing you down, at not allowing you to build up slowly. They're a good team. So I don't see that. You can, I see week in, week out when I look at stats of teams that have had 2 shots on target and won 2-0. It doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter about their possession or our possession. I've talked to you personally about drawing 1-1 in games this year with nearly 70% possession. It doesn't matter. You have to score. And Leeds were finding it difficult to score today, in my opinion. And I think they were given a leg up by a really, really soft penalty. But no, I know my team. I know what we are. It's difficult to come here and create lots of chances. I don't think anybody has. I think, as I say, I think they've got a really good defensive record, and that's football. But I did think we would get something with the last 20 minutes, but we didn't have the quality ultimately to see that happen.
Meanwhile, over on social media, what went on over there? We'll take a little look, shall we? FitnessFan82, aka Martin, said only 5 points off relegation places. Slowly but surely being sucked into it. What new style was Tony Mowbray supposedly on about? Crap last season, crap this season. A change has to come from somewhere. It's dire watching this team. This transfer dealings are questionable at best. Luke Thornley said, poor again, 2-1 flattered Rovers. They were miles to the better side. Very good in possession, and when they lose the ball, they will win it back quickly. Williams goal side, they offered nothing and didn't test their keeper enough, if at all. Not good enough. Ben Smith, I think Leeds were good today and made it really hard for us to play out. We defended pretty decent considering the onslaught. They didn't test Walter much. Also, there was fight from Mowbray on the bench today. Wasn't just sat still, arms crossed, considering I don't think 2-1 is bad. Dom Sterling said this, don't mind losing 2-1 away to Leeds, but let's be honest, we were awful again. Couldn't pass or defend. It never looked like getting an equaliser. Make no mistake about it. The way it's heading, we're in a relegation battle this year. Luke Van Gent. A shame, but not a surprise. Now on to Barnsley and Brentford at home. Should be 6 points, in my opinion. Come on, you Blues. Andy 13946802 said this, get shut of this manager now. One shot on goal all game. You can't give him another transfer window. He's had 6 and the defence still hasn't improved. Rubbish. These are their opinions, not mine. A couple more to wrap it up. Marcus, the Swedish Rover, pretty much went as expected. Can't even be bothered to be upset. And Rob Young, honestly didn't expect anything from this game, so not as disappointed as some. Leeds are ruddy bloody good. They are good, but they weren't that great. Quick look at the results elsewhere this weekend. Forest won the East Midlands derby 1-0 against Derby. Hull lost at home to West Brom. It was always going to be a tricky fixture there. Wigan lost at home. Double red card action on this one. 3-0 to Brentford. Reading 3-0 winners against Luton. Sheffield Wednesday stalled a little bit against Sheffield, against Swansea City 2-2. Barnsley lost in a 6-goal thriller against I would say Haifa. A revamped Stoke City 4-2 in the end. Millwall kept it late 2-1 winners over Charlton. Preston kept on winning 3-1 against Huddersfield. QPR and Middlesbrough duked it out to a 2-2 draw. And Fulham got the only goal in the game against Birmingham as St Andrews 1-0. Quick look at the table. This is what it looks like as it stands. West Brom are leading the way in top spot. Preston second, and Leeds are only good enough for third. Swansea fourth, Notts Forest fifth, and Fulham are sixth. Down the bottom, Barnsley, Stoke, and Middlesbrough will be going down if the season was to end today. As for Rovers, we are in the 18th spot. 5 points clear of the drop. Those playoff spots now looking very, very much a distant hoodoo, but it's still only 8 points in it, but still we've not really picked up any points in the past few games anyways. So yes, I forgot to add a graphic, so we're gonna cuff it or wing this one. The next few games, or the next batch of games in the championship are this. I will read them to you and you're gonna look at my face. It's going to be in a couple of weeks' time. Obviously, international break is next. Obviously, Cardiff against Bristol City, that takes place Sunday. But when we return from the international break, Fulham against QPR, so a bit of an old London affair. That's on Friday, the 22nd of November. In the Saturday's matches, the early one is the Battle of the Siege. Charlton against Cardiff. West Brom take on Sheffield Wednesday. Derby take on Preston. Brentford take on Reading. Swansea, Millwall, Bristol City, Nottingham Forest, Huddersfield and Birmingham. Stoke City take on Wigan. That's a big one there. And Luton take on Leeds. Rovers will take on Barnsley. That's the game of the week. And into Sunday's games, it'll be Middlesbrough against Hull City. I'll have my own predictions and all that kind of good stuff for those games a little bit closer to the match. We'll probably be looking at the Monday prior to that. But yes, not looking good at the moment when you look at that table. Reading were below us. Their new manager bounce has got them up to 17th. Same deal could be applied for Millwall. New manager bounce has them up there into 15th spot. Who else lost their manager recently? Stoke, they just picked up a result. Huddersfield hot on our heels as well. First defeat for them in a while. New manager bounce, folks. New manager bounce. We need it. I've never completely expressed my Mowbray in, Mowbray out sort of stuff, but yes, it's all there to be seen, and their new manager bounce can be vital for this club. I do have a poll currently going on my Twitter. Let's actually jump over at the old small screen into the big screen. I do have a poll on my Twitter. Let's have a little look at it now, shall we? I'll pop it up on the screen. 128 votes. There's still plenty of time if you want to get stuck into it. Are we Mowbray in or Mowbray out? If we are to go there, now would be the time. If so, would you want to be who would you want to be considered? If I get my words right. While you're here, take a look at my post-match thoughts. But yes, the current voting is 57% is Mowbray in, 43% Mowbray out. That is as it stands. As I said, there's still plenty of time for you to participate in that. The poll closes tomorrow, so make sure you check that sucker out and get your votes in there. For me, you know what? If you can guarantee that we would be able to have the pick of the litter, and when I say I'm a pick of the reasonable litter, and I'm talking Chris Hughton, Gareth Ainsworth, then yes, there are some really good, appealing managerial options out there. But I know Venky's, I know how we've operated in the past, and we could end up with something really shitty. We could bin off Mowbray and go, you know what? Who's good? Phil Parkinson's pretty good. We'll take him. Or Heckingbottom, or whatever his name is, from who just left Leeds. Not Leeds, Hibernian, ex-Leeds manager. But there's some tosh out there, and that tosh will just grind us even further, and we couldn't end up the same position Mowbray picked us up in a relegation dog battle or dog fight or whatever, and he comes in and he might not be good enough anyway. So now is the time, if there's something to be done about this. I don't see it happening. We've just got to suck it up and hopefully ride through the month of November and December and try and pick up the points quick time. If we can get, a whole bunch of points in the next few games, because there's like 8 games or something crazy on the horizon for Rovers, if we can start chipping away and getting the points on the board, you know what? We might be able to turn the season around. Anyway, folks, give me your thoughts and opinions about the game, the result, in the old comment section down below, especially you Leeds fans. I didn't really talk about much about you guys. You guys are in good shape. You might not have played well today, but you're still getting the business. You're doing what's right. You're playing pretty terrible today, but you got the result, and that's all that matters. And that's what happens with champions. They can play terrible, and they can still be in the thick of things. Us, we can play good, and we can still be wank. And today we play trash, and we are trash. So we need to sort that out big time if we're going to get anywhere in this league. Until I see you again, which will be in a Blackburn Rovers, guys, in about a week or so's time. Obviously going to take the next few days off. We'll be back again Monday week for the Barnsley preview. Until then, smash the thumbs up, smash the subscribe if you're new. Get this video up there, 20 likes or something like that. That'd be great. I'll see ya, as Ben HD would say, in the next one.
Thanks again for watching. Please like, share, and most importantly, hit the subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, football related. We've got it all covered right under one roof. And while I still have you, please be sure to check out some of the old videos scattered along here. I hope.